everybody, this is Scott Alan Miller. Today on Sam IT, I'm going to talk about the business problem that people often run into, and IT especially. Now, we kind of touched on this in just another video just the other day, but this one is, it's never expensive if you decided to pay for it. This is pretty simple. We live in a market where you are allowed to buy anything you want within reason for your business, right? You're not forced into using specific things. There's lots of choices for everything, and even if there wasn't, there's always the option of not using anything. Nobody requires that you use computers, for example. You have freedom to do what makes sense for your business, and all businesses have the same option, so this isn't like you're being singled out in some way. Now, we're not talking about things where actual monopolies exist, like your ISP and problems with the FCC. That is a completely different problem and mostly unique to the United States, and that is an actual monopoly violation of the open market, and there is no market. It is a socialist regime where the ISPs are working directly with the government and then pretending to be completely private. That doesn't apply. We're not talking about that. That's its own problem. And yes, we will have videos talking about the insanity of how the FCC sold out your rights as an American to the ISPs for whatever reason, right? That's worth talking about later. But right now, what we're talking about is actual things that are available on the free market, such as operating systems, office suites, ERPs, CRMs, web hosts, those kinds of things. You have choices, not just a few. You have a lot of choices, and they come in a range of prices and with a range of support and with a range of everything, right? You have choices. No business is locked into any one thing. You need to be making decisions, you being the business, right? You, the watcher, may or may not be the business decision maker in these cases, so simply understand that I'm referring to the person who is. That person who's making decisions as to what is going to be purchased for the business, no matter what it is, whether it's the pens for the stationery closet, or the chairs, or the operating systems. Those decisions need to be made within the context of the business. All those things have cost associated with them, not just upfront cost, but TCO, right? Total cost of ownership. It's the cost of supporting it, the cost of acquiring it, the cost of implementing it, all those things. You put them together and you see how much things cost, and then you look at what value you get from them. This is your ROI, or return on investment. Once you take, let's say you're buying operating systems, it's going to cost your organization $100,000. You look at the alternatives and say, how much difference are we going to get for this $100,000? You decide that it's going to earn your organization $120,000. That means you have a $20,000 return on investment because you went with that product over the alternatives. You are earning $20,000, you believe, by making that decision. Of course, you can be wrong, but the belief is that you are earning $20,000, and that's why you would go ahead with purchasing a product that costs so much money, because you perceive it as making you money, as being the best option. If it didn't make you money, if you actually lost money on that purchase, you should not make the purchase. You can make any excuse you want at this point, but that math is guaranteed. If you believe you're going to lose money by making a purchase, don't make it. It's that simple. If you ever react to that statement and get the feeling, oh, no, there must be a time that I could lose money but still have to buy it. No, that means you're having an emotional reaction, or that you have actually identified something that you were sure you needed and you don't actually. Go back and look at the math, but figure it out. If you actually don't need it, don't pay for it. Now, of course, the most likely thing is that something really important, like an operating system, it probably comes out that there's something dependent on it that you forgot to calculate. That's very possible, right? So your emotional reaction may simply mean that you did something wrong and you got to figure it out. Okay. But don't let emotion take over and tell you that you must buy things. That's not how business works. It's not how the real world works, right? And your job as IT, as part of the business infrastructure, is to make sure that doesn't happen. This is what IT is for. Anybody can just plug in boxes and buy things willy-nilly. It's knowing what to buy and what to implement and how to do it and what makes sense. That's what makes us IT, putting technology in the context of the business. And we can't do that unless we're doing TCO and ROI and looking at the numbers and figuring out if the things we're doing are actually good for the business or bad for the business. So if it's good, if we have done that determination, which is our key role here, right? If we've done the thing we're supposed to do and we determine it's going to make us money, or we think it is, there's always a little bit of projection, then we should be thrilled to pay $100,000 for that item. And we should never have a reaction where we're like, but this is so expensive. Is it? You just determined that you're making money by buying this. How is that negative? You should never have a negative reaction to that. Yes, opening up your wallet and writing that check might be a little bit nerve-wracking, it might be a big decision, but it doesn't change the fact that you've done your homework and you believe you are making money by doing so, so the value of that item is good as far as you are concerned. Now, if you question your ability to make a good judgment, okay, get someone to help oversee that. Ask questions. This is where we get peer review. Go find out if you're really doing something that makes sense, or if you've missed something critical, like there's a free option, or you're double paying because you didn't actually need this other thing, or you just got the numbers wrong, or whatever. The thing that I'm trying to get across is that if you're moving forward with decisions, those decisions need to be within the context of the business, and they are self-fulfilling. If you make that decision, it makes it something that you wanted. You are simply not forced into these things, but there's an emotional reaction. I see this a lot of times for people in IT, that they are upset about the things that they quote-unquote have to buy. And it doesn't work that way. One, it's not your money, and we're going to talk about that in another video. But two, it is being purchased because whoever's in charge believes that this is what's best for the business, in which case it guarantees that the person who's making the decision doesn't believe that it's a waste of money or that it's expensive. It is a value that makes sense for the business. Keep that in mind, and it makes a lot of things in IT less stressful, a lot more straightforward, and it helps you understand where to look for problems, because mistakes will be made, whether you're looking at a post-mortem to see what happened in the past, to see if it was a good decision, if the math was correct, or if you're looking at decisions in the future to see where you should be going, and you make sure you're continuing to make better decisions in the future than you did in the past. Remember to like and subscribe, put your comments below, and as always, you can sponsor us right here on Patreon. This episode of Sam IT has been sponsored by our friends at Talkadillo, the affordable, simple, fully managed, predictably priced VoIP PBX platform. Learn more at talkadillo.com and help to support Sam IT.